tea or whatever you are sipping and get cozy. Here we share and start the morning with a positive vibe. So let's reset, recharge, and reconnect right here on Cup of Cocoa and Chat. I'm Princess, host of Cup of Cocoa and Chat. I'm Princess, host of Cup of Cocoa and Chat. Mm. Grab your cup of cocoa, coffee, tea, or whatever you are sipping and get cozy. Here we share and start the morning with a positive vibe. So let's reset, recharge, and reconnect right here on Cup of Cocoa and Chat. I'm Princess, host of Cup of Cocoa and Chat. I'm Princess, host of Cup of Cocoa and Chat. Princess, host of Cocoa and Chat. Princess, host of Cocoa and Chat. Grab your cup of cocoa, coffee, tea, or whatever you are sipping and get cozy. Here we share and start the morning with a positive vibe. So let's reset, recharge, and reconnect right here on Cup of Cocoa and Chat. I'm Princess, host of Cup of Cocoa and Chat. I'm Princess, host of Cup of Cocoa and Chat. So let's reset those that cocoa, cocoa. So let's reset, recharge, and reconnect right here on Cup of Cocoa and Chat.
Theme: Mindful Monday, episode number 21, Labor Less, Live More, The Gift of Rest. Release date: Monday, September 1st, 2025. Our weekly theme for September the 1st through September the 5th is September Shift, New Rhythms, Fresh Energy. Our motivation focus for today's podcast is to ease into the fall with intention, balance, wellness, and joy. So let's get right into it. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, whenever you're tuning in. I am so glad you pressed play. Welcome to Cup of Cocoa and Chat, the podcast where we savor the moment, think deeply, and listen to real conversations that stir the heart. I am Princess, your host, and today is Mindful Monday. This week's theme is September shift, new rhythms, fresh energy. And today is Labor Day, a national holiday set aside to honor the hard work and dedication of millions of people who keep our communities, families, and nation moving forward. From the hands that build and repair to the hearts that teach, heal, and serve, today we pause to say thank you. Your contributions matter, and your labor has laid the foundation for the comforts, freedoms, and opportunities we enjoy. So, as we ease into September, let's shift our perspective. Labor less, live more. Labor less, live more. Rest is not a luxury, it's a gift, a necessity, if you will, and a form of gratitude for the body, the mind that carries us through each day. When we think about rest, most of us picture sleep. And yes, getting enough sleep is very important. But true rest goes deeper than that. Rest is about renewing every part of who we are. So we have mental rest. Sometimes our minds are still racing, even when our bodies are laying down. Mental rest means permitting yourself to step back, quiet the noise, and let your thoughts slow down. That could look like journaling, turning off your notifications, or simply sitting in silence for just a few minutes. We also have emotional rest. We carry so much emotional stress from work, family responsibilities, or even the world around us. Emotional rest is about creating self spaces to express yourself. Cry if you need to, laugh out loud, or talk to someone you trust. It's releasing the weight you've been holding inside. Okay, what about your spiritual rest? This is the kind of rest that anchors us. It's about connecting with God, with faith, with that deeper sense of peace that says, I don't have, I don't have to carry it all alone. Spiritual rest might come through prayer, scripture, worship, or just sitting still in God's presence. Just sitting still in God's presence is awesome. So today, let's remember, rest isn't just about closing our eyes. It's about opening up space for our whole selves to heal, to breathe, and to be restored. So let me be real with you for just a moment. This podcast and my morning show take a lot of heart and preparation. I start planning as early as Saturday, and by Sunday, I'm only wrapping up things for the podcast. Then all week, I'm prepping, I'm planning, I'm recording, I'm posting videos, I'm writing text posts, and I'm thinking. Additionally, I have some special projects underway that I look forward to share with you very soon. So that's taking a big chunk out of me, right? And here's the truth. Last week, I had to pause. I didn't go live on Wednesday and Friday because I realized I was running on empty. I was running on empty. By the end of the week, I had deplenished all of my energy. Like I put all of my soul, my heart, my energy into preparing for this podcast and all of the things that I do all week long, right? Um, so I decided to still record my Wednesday and Friday segments, and hopefully I will get them up today. Um, and upload them on YouTube, so I can still honor the commitment that I made to all my viewers, right? But that pause reminded me of something very important. While we honor work today on Labor Day, it's also a reminder that rest is a right, not just a reward. So I had to sit with my thoughts and think about it. I had to rest because by the end of last week, I was running totally on empty. My body, my soul, my mind, I had nothing to give. So when you think about rest, think about it like this. Rest allows us, and definitely allows me, to be refreshed, so that I can bring my morning show to pour into from a full cup and not an empty one, right? And I know I'm not alone in this. You might carry a full schedule too. So I want to remind you it's okay to stop, breathe, and to honor your own rest. Stop, to breathe, to honor your own rest. Otherwise, your body starts to break down and you start feeling whatever ails you, you start feeling those things. So, rest is very important. So, September is such a shifting month because the heat of the summer begins to give way to cooler evenings. Kids go back to school. Our routines start to change, and our spirits begin carving balance. It's like the whole world is gently nudging us into a new rhythm. So, one of the first ways we can embrace this shift is to reframe how we see our routines. Too often, routines feel rushed. Gotta get to work on time. We gotta get the kids out. We gotta make sure they have breakfast. We gotta make sure they have lunch or at least money for lunch. We have to make sure that they get to the bus stop so they can be picked up if they're bus riders. If they're walkers, we gotta pray and make sure they get to their destination. If they're car riders, we gotta get them to school on time. We gotta get in that line, and I'm not sure, I can't remember what it's called right now, but that line so that we are doing all of the things, right? You know, because we got that checklist that we race through. But what if we swapped the rush for rhythm? A rhythm flows, it has grace, and it moves at a pace that sustains us rather than drains us. Imagine beginning your morning not with panic, but with purpose, breathing, praying, sipping your cup of cocoa, and setting the tone before the day starts running you. Setting the tone before the day starts running you. So this is also the perfect time to introduce balance. Many of us have packed schedules, but balance doesn't always mean cutting things out. It can mean mixing wellness into the work we already do. So remember, we're going to reframe our routines and get on a rhythm. And then we're going to introduce balance into that. We're going to introduce balance into that. And that might look like that might look like taking short stretches. So when you do those stretches at your desk when you're working, whether you're working in an office, whether you're working home, take a break, do some stretches. That not only helps your wellness, but it gives your mind that break in between those work hours. Okay? Choose a nourishing snack instead of just grabbing what's quick. I know that's easier said than done, right? That's easier said than done, but that's something that we wanna into that's what something we wanna look at when we're introducing this balance. Um, Put on music while you clean. A lot of us do that. A lot of us grew up doing that, listening to music. When you had to get up early Saturday morning and your mom put on either gospel, R&B, or whatever it was she was feeling that day while you cleaned the baseboards and wiped down the walls and did all of those things back in the day. And for the younger folks that were introduced to that, put on that music, right? And clean. It's refreshing and it helps you get through the day, right? Let's see. And it possibly would lighten the mood that you're in. So try it if you aren't already doing it. Because balance is about weaving joy and care into what's already on your plates, right? So we are reframing our routines by adding rhythm. We're introducing balance into it. Now let's bring joy in it. Let's bring joy in it. Let's bring joy into the small things because fall reminds us to savor the crisp air, the colors changing, even the sound of leaves crunching under your feet when you're outside for that walk. Joy doesn't have to be a grand event. It can be as simple as lighting a candle while you read, making your favorite cup of tea, and the most important one that I love is making cocoa. Or just calling a friend just to laugh, right? Small joys add up and they shift how we carry the bigger parts of our life. So remember, reframe your routines with rhythm, introduce balance in it, bring some balance into your routines, and lastly, bring joy. Bring joy in it. Bring joy in it. So as September begins, I want to challenge you. Don't just fall into those old routines, right? Remember, reframe your routines with rhythm. Introduce balance into your routines and bring joy along into your routines. Create new rhythms. Choose balance and make space for joy. This month can be a season of intention where you labor less and live more. Labor less and live more. So let's take a moment to pause together. You may be driving, walking, or even cooking while listening to me, but I want you to give yourself permission to breathe and reflect. So the first thing we're going to reflect on is rest. 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 I cannot say it enough. Rest. Ask yourself, what's one area in your life that needs more rest right now? Is it your body because you're tired? Is it your mind because it won't slow down? Or maybe your heart carrying too many emotions? Just notice what comes up. No judgment, just awareness. So sit with that for a moment. Ask yourself, what's one area in my life that needs more rest right now? Okay? So the next one, rhythm. And here's another question to reflect on. What simple rhythm could I begin this week to honor balance? It doesn't have to be a big change. It could be just one small step. Maybe it's a 5-minute stretch break. Maybe it's a prayer before the day begins, and most of us do that already. So we want to add something else. Maybe it's choosing to slow down at the dinner table and really savor your meal because we rush through so many things of our lives. What rhythm could give you just a little more balance this week? So we reflected on rest, we reflected on rhythm. Now, what I want you to do is think about journaling or sharing, right? So if you have a journal nearby you, jot down what came to mind when I asked those two questions. And I'll repeat the questions to give you time if you have a journal nearby. What's one area in your life that needs more rest right now? What's one area in your life that needs more rest right now? More rest right now. And the second one, what simple rhythm can you begin this week to honor balance? What simple rhythm can you begin this week to honor balance? Okay? And jot those down. Jot those 2 questions down, right? And then jot down what comes to mind when you're asking yourself those 2 questions. Now, if you don't have a journal, just hold it in your heart today as your mindful moment. Because remember, today is Mindful Monday. So, as a mindful moment, just hold it in your hearts. And later on, if you feel led, write it down. Come back to this podcast and get the questions if you cannot remember them and write them down and write down what comes to mind. Now, if you feel led, share it with a friend, maybe post it online, or simply speak it out loud. So you can write it in your journal if you have a journal and reflect on each question. You can hold it in your heart. And later, if you feel led to, share it with a friend, make a post about it, or simply speak it out loud. Because reflection is powerful because it shows us where we are and points us towards where we want to go. It shows us where we are and points us towards where we want to go. All right? So remember, rest, rhythm go hand in hand. When we pause to reflect, we make room for wellness and joy to flow back into our lives. Rest and rhythm go hand in hand. When we pause to reflect, we make room for wellness and joy to flow back into our lives. And then we have some type of balance. See how all of that works together? And it gives us that balance. Now, before we wrap up, I want to share a little something. I've been working on behind the scenes. So remember, I told you I had a couple of projects that I am just so excited uh, about releasing them and sharing them with all of my viewers, my listeners, my followers, my family, my friends. You all know how much I encourage journaling, right? It's one of the best ways to reflect, reset, and pull out what's on your heart. Well, I've been creating a special cup of cocoa and chat journal. And here's the fun part. Each page will have a sprinkle of my voice on it, guiding you through reflections, affirmations, and little sips of inspiration. Think of it as me sitting right beside you with a warm cup, cheering you on as you write. Because everybody knows I am your biggest cheerleader, your biggest cheerleader. Every Friday in my live segments, I shout out my community, right? S- So that's coming soon, my journal. That's one of two that is coming soon. So one will be coming very soon. The other one probably towards end of the month, but just in time for Christmas. Uh, and I can't wait to put it in your hands. But for now, just know it's all about helping you pause, reflect, and live with more intention. Also, um, in the beginning of this podcast, you may have heard my new official theme song for Cup of Cocoa and Chat. I do own the rights, so you'll hear that song. You heard that song, I'm sorry. You heard that song at the beginning of this podcast, and I am so happy that it dropped today on Labor Day. So in my live segments on Wednesdays and Fridays, I have this um segment where I do faith and cocoa moments. And I'm bringing that to my podcast as well. So I want to read from the book of Matthew, chapter 11, verse 28 through 30. This is a summary of that. Come to me, all who labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Come to me, all who labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Our affirmation is rest restores my strength. Rest restores my strength. So as we celebrate Labor Day and step into September, remember, rest is part of the rhythm. So, all right, my beautiful people, that brings us to the end of today's episode. If today's conversation gave you something to reflect on, I'll leave you with this final thought. Our work has value, but so does our rest. Rest is not the absence of productivity, it's the presence of peace, balance, and renewal. September invites us to shift into new rhythms, to release the rush, and to find joy in life's small, simple moments. So this week, I challenge you to claim your right to rest, to set one fresh rhythm, and to let your spirit breathe. Because when we rest well, we live well. And that is the true gift. Please share this conversation with someone who might need a little encouragement today. And if you found value in this space, I would love to have you join me again next week for more conversations that nourish the mind and soothe the soul. I'll be back next Monday, September the 8th. Shout out to my best girl, Kim. That is her birthday. On Monday, September the 8th, not only Kim's birthday, but I'll be back with season 1, episode 22 of Cup of Cocoa and Chat, the podcast. So mark your calendar, pour your favorite drink, and meet me right here for more good vibes, meaningful conversation, and purpose-filled moments. Until next time, take care of yourself. Oh my goodness. I'm starting to get a little nasally, y'all. Um, until next time, take care of yourself, stay encouraged, and as always, peace, blessings. I love you, and I mean it. Bye for now.